Hi everyone. I don't even know how to start this video. What with everything going on, with each passing minute, I get more and more uncomfortable. Right now it feels like something is eating me inside. Although there's nothing I have to say that hasn't been said already, I just wanted to make a video because I feel like if I talk about it, it might be, I don't know. Even though I don't have a platform, I just thought, I don't know. I did actually film a different video yesterday and I prefaced it by mentioning all this stuff, and people have asked me for a makeup video anyway, so I thought I might just combine the two. So today is June 5th. Another day of things, new things, terrifying, horrifying things coming out. I think the things that are scarring me most are those videos of police just going to town, beating the shit out of protesters. Like, a lot of things make me feel ill, but that especially, that's just fucked up, man. Well, a lot of things are, but that is fucked up. Also, I just want to say, I'm hyper aware right now that me complaining about feeling uncomfortable about this is definitely like a first world problem. Generations upon generations of black people have feared for their lives every day, so I know it's a bit rich of me to say that, but it's true. And you know, I bring it up because if you're not uncomfortable, that's something that's wrong. That's something that's wrong, definitely. I watched an Instagram TV video yesterday and I had to pause it midway through because I thought I was going to be sick. I mean, genuinely thought I was going to throw up right there and then. It's not that there's something to get off my chest. I mean, I've got nothing to confess or anything. And, you know, if you have me on social media, you'll know that I'm being very vocal about the whole thing anyway. It's not like I've hesitated to speak on it. It's just, I don't know, trying to do my bit again and trying to reach out to my fellow white people. Because there's so much we can do. At this point, if we don't do it, that's racist. It's not enough to just be not racist. Like, you have to be anti-racist. That's what's come to light, definitely, for me recently. Before now, if I saw something on social media, I'd obviously engage with it and I'd retweet, share posts, sign petitions, whatever, donate, but it wasn't like constant. Now, pretty much all I'm seeing is about the protests and riots and the Black Lives Matter movement, and that's not a complaint. I'm not complaining about that. I don't think that's wrong. I think it's what we should be doing. It just wasn't on my mind constantly before now, and I think that's one of the many symptoms of white privilege, is that we're not constantly thinking about this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll say it again, if you're not being anti-racist, that's not enough. You can't just sit and think to yourself, well, it's okay that I'm not doing anything because I know that I'm not a racist. I had several uncomfortable revelations. One of them is about the education system in the UK. Shambles, basically. Like, I always knew it wasn't the best, but the way I am, or is it, well, partly the way I am and partly how I've been taught, is that I never questioned the system. I was never going to question the syllabus until now, when I just started thinking, like, did we ever learn anything about black history or black culture? And the answer is no. The one time I remember learning something specifically about black history, as opposed to just diversity in the one lesson we had a year in PSHE, was when we did about Windrush for the modern history section of GCSE history. So many things wrong with that, because first of all, GCSE history was an elective subject, and learning about a history that's just been wipes away in the UK. That shouldn't be elective, that should be obligatory. Another problem was we spent about like maybe a week or two on it, and it was just part of the syllabus to help us understand the politics. I asked a few of my friends who went to the same school as me if they remember ever learning about Black history or anything, and they all said the same thing, no. I don't understand how they choose what goes on the syllabus, how exam boards choose what they're going to examine. It doesn't really matter, they're only trying to examine how you remember what you've learnt. And surely they could use that opportunity to teach us about things that are going to affect us now, i.e. the lives of people from different cultures and races. Because if it's not taught to us, unless you seek out your own research, which I can't think of many 11-year-olds doing, or your parents teach it to you, or like a nanny or something, you're not gonna know. You're not gonna think to question why you don't know, because you don't know what you don't know. That's where there's just like a gap, like a massive chasm in the knowledge about other people, and that affects how we treat them and how we see them. And this is happening like right now. This is the one time where history could be helpful in how we treat other people. Apart from that, it's just disrespectful. You know, Black people and people of colour get white culture forced on them every day, and so it's just rude that we don't give them and their culture the respect that they are obligated to give ours. Besides that, white culture has just looted from other cultures, so it's not even really our culture, most of it. I can think of one thing, I mean there will be more, but I can think of one thing I know directly that has come from white people, and that's the majority of classical composers, the majority of famous classical composers. But then again, it's like, the way we learn about them, it's like Black composers don't exist, which is so untrue. Obviously it's so untrue. There's an article that Classic FM did about that, so I'll link that if you're interested. I've also seen a lot of people saying, you know, quite rightly, you listen to Black music, copy Black hairstyles and other elements of their culture, but you can't speak up about, you know, when the Black Lives Matter movement really needs your voice. You can't contribute. You know, we've given you so much. And whilst that's true, of course it's true, that is perpetuating such an unhealthy idea that in order for Black people to get our respect, they need to give us something first. Like, no, they live on the same earth as us, they were here too. It's not like a race, it's not like we were here first and then they arrived in like a spaceship and they were like, can we stay here? No! They were here too! And then white explorers came and ruined their lives and all that stuff. They don't have to earn, they shouldn't have to earn human rights. Like, the fact that people enjoy stuff culturally that was started by Black people and doesn't give them credit for it, that's just another level. Like, that... There's an anecdote that I've been telling my friends recently that I think about every now and again, but I thought about it even more now for obvious reasons. When I don't remember what year I was in, but I was in senior school, and I was doing a drama club as like an enrichment activity. We were doing like a medley of songs, and one of them was from Sister Act, and the teacher was asking us what we know about the main character. And I don't think anyone said anything, you know, because it's like that in school, no one just volunteers knowledge. And this girl was like, well, I don't want to be racist, but is she Black? Oh my god. And I remember looking at her, I was like, are you fucking dumb? You think calling someone black is an insult? Well, that gives the wrong impression. I mean, it was Whoopi Goldberg, of course, she is black. Like, acknowledging someone's race if it's not white, seen as an insult. Like, I've had long thoughts about that. I've had really long, hard thoughts about that. And I'm going to try and articulate the conclusions that I've come to in my head. But it's actually surprisingly hard. So, if my sentences aren't proper sentences right now, please forgive me. I think that if you come from a predominantly white background and you go to such a predominantly white school, I mean, it was like 99% white. No surprises there. The only thing that you're really taught about black people and black culture is that it's wrong to be racist. You have to treat everyone the same. That's what my parents were like. They've never been bigoted, prejudiced or anything like that. They just taught me that everyone is equal. If slowly, gradually, as you grow up, the only thing that you associate with black people is a fear of being racist, then that's how you're going to view them. You know, you're going to be overly wary of causing offence. So much so that somehow race can be misconstrued as being an insult. Now, I'm not saying a lot of intellectual thought went into that comment from that girl. I think... I don't even know what to think. I don't think she was racist. I think she was just dumb and ignorant. Like most white people, certainly the ignorant part. Including me. I'm not saying I'm any better. And I think it comes down to how we fear the unknown. Because we do. Like, you're not scared of the dark. You're scared of what's hiding there that you can't see. That just goes back to my point about how we need to teach people about stuff that they don't know when it actually is important for being a good person. Surely that's what they should be teaching us in school. Don't you agree? How to be a good person instead of fucking... I don't know. I like Shakespeare, but I could have done with more lessons about white privilege than Shakespeare, not gonna lie. So that's not a diss of Shakespeare, that's a diss of the education system. As if I needed to clarify that. Don't diss Shakespeare, please. Imagine. What's also shameful is that I don't remember ever having a black teacher at my senior school. I mean, could be a coincidence. It's also just kind of not surprising. If you're from the same school as me and you remember differently, please let me know, because this is just what I remember. But I've spoken to a few people who think the same, so hopefully I'm not wrong. I don't know if anyone else feels the same, but I feel like it would be inappropriate to enjoy life right now. I just feel ill, like, all the time. I don't know whether part of it is guilt. I don't feel guilty for having acted wrongly in the past regarding race, because I know I would never do that. I wouldn't. Like, it would just never cross my mind, because the whole concept of racism is just so dumb, isn't it? Like, what is it based on? Literally nothing. But I feel guilt that I didn't seek out things before. You know, I was more passive than active. And I think that's because I didn't know any better. So I feel guilty, but at the same time, I know that I always did what I thought was right. I just didn't think outside the box. I don't know if that's probably not a good way of saying it, but I'm also really exhausted. And I know, imagine being on the receiving end of racism rather than just hearing about it. I know, but I am tired. And you know, lockdown isn't helping any of this, is it? I've heard a few people say that that might be one of the reasons why that it's kicked off in in the way that it has, because people can't turn a blind eye, like, it's everywhere. They aren't doing anything else. There's nothing to distract them. 2020 really is going to be one for the history books, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Also, I'd like to give a quick shout out to anyone who's dealing with racist or prejudiced family members and having to live with them during this, and is trying to change their minds. Well, you deserve a medal for living with them anyway, but if you're doing your bit to use your privilege and educate them, then that cannot be easy, so I salute you. Why do my eyebrows take me so long? It's 1:15 and I still haven't eaten. Oh, wait, is it? Oh, it is. I thought it was 12, but no, it is 1:15. But I sort of don't feel hungry. I really feel like I'm in like a semi-depressive state in a way. I just feel numb and ill, like I already said. Whilst it's important to point out that attacking people for not sharing stuff on social media is counterproductive, because they could be doing stuff in real life. If you are on social media a lot, how hard is it to share a post, please? If it's something about using your white privilege, like I saw one about Netflix documentaries you could watch to educate yourself. If it's something about, you know, petitions, things to sign, places to donate, that could really help. So I don't know why you wouldn't do that. I'm also in two minds about whether I should take a break from social media, because there's no denying that it's like having an effect on me. But coming to terms with privilege was never gonna not be ugly, and like it's my responsibility to do that, you know? My camera cut out, but I think the only thing I missed out on saying was I just want to be able to keep abreast of everything that's going on, if there are updates in any of the cases, protest updates, things like that. People will make fun of you for getting most, if not all, of the news from Twitter, as if it's like the least biased platform. There's a video, I'll insert it somewhere, that's like a comparison of the original footage and like what was shared on, I think it was on CNN. If you're going to try and tell me that the news isn't biased, then I'm going to need you to come up with some evidence that counters that, because it goes without saying that I'll put petition links and stuff in the description. I keep wondering, and this is a very self-centered thought, it's my birthday in a few weeks, do I really feel like I'm going to be able to celebrate without, you know, like feeling shit about the fact that I am celebrating? Do you know what I mean? It might just feel wrong, but a lot can happen in a few weeks. I mean, it's been like 10 days since George Floyd's murder, and look how much has happened. Wasn't it like the Monday before last? I'm not really sure, but it has genuinely felt like an eternity. I don't know about anyone else, but it has done for me. I think no one realises how much easier it is to say you should confront people that you know in real life when you think they're being racist or they're doing something wrong than it is to actually do it, because it can feel wrong on so many levels. But I made a vow to myself that I would do it. I should also mention Happy Pride Month. Let's not forget that the person that started the movement for gay rights was a black trans woman, Marsha P. Johnson. Say her name. This is why I don't understand how LGBTQ plus people can be racist. Do you know why you have rights? Or more appropriately, do you know how you got rights? Oh, I'd also like to talk about how, going back to the education thing, I only learnt that the N-word was a bad thing because of the internet. I feel like our generation has learnt so much from the internet. No one ever spoke about it in school. Like, my parents didn't speak about it. And whilst I feel like covert racism is a lot more rampant and harder to tackle in the UK, overt racism, there's no reason that overt racism shouldn't be tackled as well. And I feel like it would just be, well, not easy, but like it's obvious, I suppose is the word. You sit kids down and say you shouldn't say this word because it hurts people. Oh dear, that looks a bit muddy. Yikes. weeks. Does anyone else feel like they're living in a fever dream? Like each day blurs into the next and each day feels worse than the last. Like I don't even... There are some things that I see when I look on Twitter and it's really empowering, and I feel like, I don't know how to describe it, I feel almost euphoric seeing people come together. John Boyega speaking, for one thing. That man, what an amazing person. And the fact that he felt he had to put his career on the line just for saying that racism is wrong. That says everything, doesn't it? We had some family friends over on Monday. I was talking to them. I mean, we got onto the topic of Black Lives Matter and all that stuff. You know, they're good people, by the way. I really like them. Although I feel like I have to preface what I'm going to say next with that. It's a bit of a red flag, but they are. And they're a couple, and the lady was like, I don't know why they're looting and stuff. Like, I don't think I agree with that. I don't think it's very productive. I think I caught myself thinking along those lines at one point. It wasn't that, it was like, oh, I wish they didn't have to. Although, what have giant corporate companies in America ever done for me? So that's a bit silly. But I remember on someone on Twitter saying, well, they've been peaceful for 400 years, you know, as if rioting and protesting doesn't work. I give you the Boston Tea Party, I give you Stonewall, the suffragette movement. How do you think slaves stopped being slaves in the first place? Although I swear when I was taught about that when I was younger, all the credit was given to a white man who freed them. I'm gonna have to look into that. I must emphasise that I really don't know much about that at all. I've learnt more these past few days from being on Twitter, but it's still not enough. I've added 13th to my list on Netflix, so usually when I watch Netflix it's just kind of to have something to do, but that won't be the same for this. I'll set aside however long I need and I will concentrate and maybe make notes. Also, I don't know if anyone else saw, but the way Seth Rogen handled racists in his Instagram comments under a Black Lives Matter post, oh my god, it gave me life. That's one of the good things to come out of this. I was laughing so much. He was essentially like, suck your mum. It was the funniest thing ever. Just telling people to fuck off left, right and centre is the best thing ever. I can't help but feel that if Caroline Lucas was PM right now, she would have handled all this really well. Support green for clear skin. I mean, they are the most unproblematic. I kind of don't even want to talk about the abysmal performances from celebrities, because what more is there to say? It's disgraceful. I'm sure most of you will have seen a tweet explaining how one time Kylie Jenner was like, oh, I don't like the new Snapchat update, and overnight I think they lost, I'm not 100% sure of the exact figures, but it was something like $1.3 million in stock. Was it billion? I don't know. A billion is a lot more than a million, I know, but they just sound similar. I'd also like to say, if you're a fellow white person and, like me, you're feeling overwhelmed by all this and it's slowly dawning on you just how corrupt everything in the world is right now, and you're really tempted to just hide away and act like none of it is happening because ultimately it won't affect you, now is not the time to do that. You've got to put your grown-up hat on and research and come to terms with your privilege. Like, it's not just a one-time thing. It's not just like, I'm privileged. No, it's harder than that. It's just every time I take a step back from this and I like put it into perspective, how mental is it that black people and their allies are like, don't shoot us, and then there are literally people who are like, but no, not okay. I feel like there will be people who will just not be convinced, like Katie Hopkins. Oh, I can't believe I said her name. And the only possible solution is to... I'm not saying you should kill her. Oh, a really good thing I saw was there was like a promo video. I watched it because people were like, the captions were like, watch it all the way through. And at the end, it was all about how fucked up Trump is. And at the end, it was Republicans against Trump. And I never thought I would see the day. Like, that was just so good. That was so good. That might be my go-to thing to think about if I ever get a bit too sad. I really hate that it's taken something as tragic as this for me to open my eyes, or have my eyes opened by it, and the same for a lot of people. I do feel ashamed, but I genuinely think now, and you're welcome to hold me to this, I genuinely think now I will not go a day without thinking about at least one thing that's happened in this entire sort of area, whether that would be an unjust killing of a black person, protesters getting beaten, you know, something that has happened within this whole period. And if you are a black person watching this video, well, I don't know what to say other than, what was that quote? I understand that I'll never understand. Yeah, but I'll do whatever it takes, whatever I can to further this. Is that a blonde eyebrow hair, or have I just got highlighter on it? Oh, a quick moment to talk about ACAB. I don't want anyone saying it's a few bad apples and not all cops. No, that's not the point of ACAB. Hang on, I bookmarked something on Twitter for this. And I'm going to show my parents later. So I'll insert the pictures as well. ACAB stands for All Cops Are Bastards. This does not negate that individual cops are not capable of good. Rather, it highlights that the system is corrupt and beyond reform. There are no good cops as they stand beside the unjust actions of the institution and continue to harm black people. Your positive experiences with cops, who may be relatives or friends, does not negate the fact that the institution is violent and unjust. It is built on systematic racism and must be remade for the safety of our communities. I also really like the art that this is, you'll understand if I insert the pictures, but I really like how it's been drawn. Just as an aside. There's also a YouTuber that I recently started watching. His name is Tarek. I really hope I said that right. I actually started watching his videos before this whole thing began. There was one really good one that I watched. I think it was like, what does it mean to be black? He's just such a clean-cut person and he speaks so well. So I'm going to link his channel and that video if you're interested in watching that, which you should be, because his videos, they aren't too long, they're just comfortably long where you can like get a drink or a snack or something and just listen to him talk, and they're all set out so well as well, so clearly, they have structure, so I really enjoy his whole brand. Massive grey cloud out there, no thanks. Okay, my camera battery is flashing, so I'm gonna have to finish this. Where am I? Oh, there's my nose ring. Well, I'll wear that. Okay, everyone, thanks for watching this video, whatever it was. I don't really know what it was. And like I said, I will obviously be linking petitions for Breonna Taylor. I think George Floyd's family requested that we put the money elsewhere. So, obviously I'll still link his fund and petition, but keep that in mind if and when you donate, which I implore that you do, even if it's like £1. I'm pretty sure I've bookmarked a lot of things on Twitter about black-owned businesses that you can find in the UK, if you're interested in that. Bail funds, general information, other YouTube videos. It's hailing. If, like me, you're really coming to terms with now the enormity and the magnitude of what life is truly like, and it's making you feel uneasy, hit me up, I know exactly how you feel, and don't forget that we can change the world. I hope you're all okay, and yeah, okay, thanks for watching. Too shy, too shy.